So we're gonna start on our side today. So why don't you come onto your left side, and you can feel free to bring your blanket or your pillow underneath your head or not. All right, whatever feels best. And you're gonna bend your knees and bring your knees in line with your hips to 90 degrees. Okay, and your head is just relaxed on either the floor or your blanket. And then you're gonna check out your knee, and I want your right knee to actually pass your left knee a little bit. All right, so it moves a little bit forward. And then your left arm, you're gonna rotate open. You're gonna reach your left arm up towards the ceiling, and your right arm, your back arm, is just gonna go out to a T. So we're coming into kind of a spinal twist or a rotation here. And if you can keep this right knee forward, it'll really give you this sort of feeling of like uncorking your spine. And we're gonna do about 4 to 5 breaths. So you can really take a nice slow inhale. Feel for some good expansion in your right side ribs, and a long sighing exhale. And maybe feel a little bit of tension in your core at the end of that exhale. And as you breathe, you might notice your right arm getting a little closer to the floor. And then you're gonna come back onto your left side. You're gonna bring your right palm on top of your left palm. And then you're just gonna start to drag your right hand across your arm and across your chest and open up your whole body out to a T. If you wanna take the head with you, you can turn your head and look at your right hand. And then you're gonna windmill that arm all the way back. And we'll do like 4 or 5 of these thoracic rotations. Try not to let your top knee move back, right? So that's going to help us get a little bit more of a rotation if you can keep that right knee forward. Perfect. All right. And then we'll do this sideline positional breathing on our other side. So you can come onto your right side, and maybe you pad your head with a pillow or a blanket. You can bring your knees so that they're right in line with the hips. And then you want to bring your left knee a little bit forwards of your right knee. Okay, you're gonna relax your left hand down on top of your right, and then what you're gonna do is open that left arm out to a T and reach your right arm up. So you rotate you rotate onto your back a little, but we're really only rotating at the thoracic spine, at the thoracic rib cage. The hips and the lumbar spine are not moving. Okay, and then we'll breathe here. So you might feel a difference in this side. Usually we tend to be pretty asymmetrical side to side, or sometimes. And then again, same thing, you're thinking about getting those nice expansive inhales into your left side ribs, and your nice long sighing exhales out of the mouth. Maybe 1 or 2 more breaths. Maybe you feel a nice stretch in this left pec, left chest muscle. And then you'll roll back onto your right side. You're going to take this left hand, it's going to drag across your body. So it drags across the right arm, and you open up all the way to a T. Maybe your head turns and looks at your left hand at the end of the rotation, and then you windmill the arm back. So just move through this maybe 4 to 5 times. Awesome. And then after your next one, you can just come onto your back. All right. And just take a second. We'll take the feet mat width apart and see if you can just windshield wiper your knees side to side. So just letting the knees fall over to the right and over to the left. Great. And then let's bring your hands to your hips. So one hand on each hip bone and see if you can kind of fixate your pelvis there. And when you're ready, you're going to lift both feet up at the same time, bring them halfway up to 90 degrees, and then go ahead and reach your arms up, make fists. So they're soft fists. And then you're just going to start to circle your wrists and your ankles. You can kind of go at the same pace. Try not to move your elbows or your shoulders, your knees or your hips, right? It's just ankles and wrists. And then you can go in the other direction. Really nice. Okay. So from here, you're going to take your left hand, connect it with your right thigh, and then we'll do 2 breaths where you really push them into each other. And then you're going to start to reach your right arm back, extend your left leg forward, and then come right back to center. And we'll do 5 of these dead bugs. Right? Try to maintain that consistent pressure between left hand and right thigh. And then once you do 5 of those, we're going to take this laterally. So your right arm goes out to a T, the left leg stays bent, and you just drop it out to your left side. Try not to change anything in your right hip. Okay. And we'll do 5 lateral dead bugs. All right. So it does help if you maintain consistent pressure in the left hand and the right thigh. Perfect. And then you can hug your knees in towards your armpits nice and wide and gently rock your spine side to side. Just kind of check in. Great. And then you're going to bring your feet down to the floor. Okay. One more time, bring your hands to your hips. Okay. And then fixate your pelvis. Start to engage your abs and pick your feet up at the same time. Bring the knees over the hips. Okay. You'll reach your arms up. All right. This time you're going to connect your right hand and your left thigh. We'll do 2 breaths. See if you can really feel that nice connection, cross body connection. And then you're going to extend your right leg forward, left arm back, and come right back to center. Okay. And we'll go for 5 here. And then we're going to take this laterally. So the right leg goes out to the side, left arm goes out to a T, and then slowly come back up, back to center. So you don't want to take your leg out so far that anything moves in your left hip or your left low back, right? You want to anchor down with that left side, right? So yeah, perfect. We'll do one more. Great. And then you'll bring your feet down to your mat. Take your arms behind you. So really reach those arms behind you and then let your knees start to sway side to side. And then you're going to let your knees fall all the way over to the right. Pick up your left hand, your left arm. It's going to cross over your body. You're going to roll onto your right side and you're going to reach your left hand towards like the back corner of the room. You might want to like tuck your tail a little bit here so you can get a nice stretch on this left side waist. And then your arm's going to come kind of lead the way. You're going to rock back onto your back. Let your knees fall all the way over to the left. Lift the right arm up and cross it over the body. Reach it towards the back corner. You're kind of reaching it next to your left hand, really. Take a couple of breaths there. And then you'll rock back onto your back, okay? And then we are going to take the hands to the pelvis one more time. and your feet are on train tracks, right? So they're about hips width distance apart. And then you're just gonna scoot or crawl your right foot forward a couple of inches. So you're in like a staggered stance, but your legs are still hips width, and then your hands are on your hips. And I want you to see if you can start to roll your spine up a couple of vertebrae and then roll your spine down, keeping your hands on your pelvis. So let's do like 5 or 6 of these. See if you can make it like a nice incremental rolling bridge. See what you feel in your abs and in the backs of your legs. You might feel differences in each leg just because we made the legs asymmetrical. Great. And then the next time that you roll up, you're going to pause and see if you can just move through a couple of pelvic tilts here. So you're going to tip your pelvis forward, get a little bit of an arch in your low back, and then tuck your tailbone under. See if you can flatten your low back. All right. So when you tip it forward, you lengthen your abdomen. When you tilt it under, it kind of shortens the abdomen. So just move through that a couple of times. Okay. And then I want you to pause with your tailbone kind of tucked. Okay. I want you to feel your abs and then push your left foot into the floor and extend your right leg up. Okay. And then at this point, you can bring this right hand down on the floor, or you can keep it on your right hip, whatever you want, and then reach your left arm up. Okay. So now the hips are up. Your left foot is pushing into the floor. You're going to take your left arm out to a T, your right leg out to the side, and then slowly come back in. All right. So it's okay to be pushing like your right elbow into the floor for some stability, but you don't want to be moving from that left hip at all. All right. So you really want to maintain some good control here. We'll do one more. Perfect. And then you're going to lower your right foot to the floor, roll your spine down. Okay. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Pull your knees in, actually, then out towards your armpits. Take a nice in breath with your head on the floor, and a nice out breath when you pick your head up, curl your chin to your chest. And we'll do that 2 more times. So you inhale, head to the floor, and exhale, chin to chest. Great. And then bring your feet back down to your mat. You're going to now step your left foot a little bit in front of your right. So the feet are still hips width, but they're staggered. Okay. You'll bring your hands to your hip bones again, and then see if you can start to move through these rolling bridges here. So we're going to explore them in this staggered stance position with the left leg in front now. Great. And so then the next time that you incrementally roll up a few vertebrae, you'll pause. You have one hand on either side of your pelvis, and then you're just going to tilt your tailbone, tilt your pelvis forward, arch your low back a little, and then tuck your tailbone under, flatten your low back a little, and just move through that a couple of times. It's not a big movement. It's a very subtle movement, and that's okay. It's almost like the subtler, the better. The less abrupt, the better here. Just see what you feel. And then you're going to pause in the tucked shape, so tailbone tilted under a little bit, and extend your left leg straight up towards the ceiling, and then reach your right arm up. So your left elbow can still be pressing into the floor. You can have the hand down by your side or hand on your hip. And then you're going to take this right arm out to the side as you lower the left leg a little bit to the left side, and then feel those obliques help you, and you come right back to center. So the leg is not going out very far because you want to be stabilizing or anchoring down with that right foot. Good. You want to keep the pelvis in a nice horizontal line. Try not to be dropping your hip. Great. We'll do 2 more. Perfect. And then lower your spine down. Take your feet mat width apart. Reach your arms back behind you. Gently windshield wiper the knees side to side. And then you can let your knees fall all the way over to the right one more time. Pick up your left arm, cross it over, right? So just like we did before, except this time, take your left hand right underneath your left shoulder and see if you can try to do like a one arm push up. Okay, you press yourself up and then slowly control yourself down. And we'll do like 5 of these. You can use your bottom arm, right, as much or as little as you need to press up. So feel free to use that bottom arm, right? Maybe you try a couple, not relying on the arm too much, and then try a couple using the arm and just see how it feels different. Awesome. And then you'll roll back onto your right side and return to your back, okay? Your knees are going to fall all the way to the left. You pick up your right arm, cross it over the body. Okay, now same thing on the other side. Your right hand comes underneath your right shoulder, okay? And you're gonna do your one arm press up, okay? And again, you can use that bottom arm as much or as little as you need to. And just check in with your breath, see if you could breathe kind of slow, smooth, calm, just in and out through the nose maybe. Awesome. And then you'll roll back onto your back. One more time, we'll just windshield wiper the knees. And then we'll roll over and make our way on up to a table. So in your table, right, feel free to pad your knees. And then you're gonna grab a block or a hardcover book, anything that you can put your hand on, anything that you can elevate your hand on. All right. And let's do right hand first. Okay, so we're gonna put the block underneath the right hand, and then your left hand is just on the floor. Yeah, so anything, like, it doesn't have to be a block. It can literally be like anything that has a slight elevation will work. We just wanna make it a little bit asymmetrical, all right? And then before we do anything, instead of letting your shoulder blades squeeze together and your rib cage sink towards the floor, see if you can kind of stretch out the shirt in between your shoulder blades so you're spreading the back of that shirt. And then all you're going to do is push into your right hand and lift your left hand up so it's a little higher than your right, and then tap it to the floor. So all the work really is happening in this right side, in this right shoulder blade upper back area. Okay, and you'll really start to feel your right shoulder blade muscles working. Okay, and then you might feel your core a little bit, hopefully. Good. Hey, if this is really hard on your wrist, you could also come onto a fist. Okay, you could also do this as something similar on your forearms if your hand really hurt. All right, and then what you're gonna do is take your left hand behind your low back and see if you can do 5 or 6 rock backs here. So you're just rocking your hips straight back to 6 o'clock. Awesome. And then the next time you rock forward, okay, you're gonna pause. Again, try not to be sinking towards the floor. Lift that rib cage up. Reach your left arm forward so it's in line with your left ear, and then extend your right leg straight back. So now you're in this bird dog. And then one more time, press into your palm, lift that rib cage up towards the ceiling. Good. And then you're gonna lift your right foot 1 inch off the floor, and you're gonna start to take your arm out to the side, your leg out to the side, and then come right back to the start. So see if you can do that like 5 times. Stay with your breath, right? Hopefully you're feeling quite a bit of work in your obliques, your side core here. Awesome. Okay, and then you're going to bring your left hand down to the floor, your right knee down to meet your left, curl your toes under, lift your knees up. So we're in this like asymmetrical knee hover, and we'll just do like 3 to 4 breaths here. You can think about dragging your hands and your feet towards each other. Head is right in line with the spine. And then you can lower your knees down, uncurl your toes. Now take your block or whatever you're using horizontally in front of you, bring both hands on top of it. We're gonna come into like a child's pose, but we're gonna just change a couple of things. So I want you to think about kind of dropping your ribs, maybe even rounding your upper back just a little. Keep that as you reach your hips towards your heels. And then instead of curling your chin to your chest, just kind of look forward a little. So you have a little bit of a natural neutral curve in your cervical spine. And then the last thing is start to push your hands down into your block. And we'll do a couple of breaths. All right. So hopefully you're getting a really nice kind of expansive breath stretch in your upper back and in your armpits and in your shoulders. And then you're going to slowly roll back on up to tabletop. And we will now take the block underneath the left hand and have your right hand on the floor. Okay. So again, spread through that left hand. If it bothers your wrist, you can always come down onto a forearm or go onto a fist. All right. And you want to think about kind of spreading your shoulder blades apart before we start. And then when you're ready, you're going to start to lift that right hand up and then tap it to the floor. So all of the work is happening in this left shoulder blade. Yeah. Okay. And hopefully you feel your core a little bit, stabilizing you. Awesome. Maybe one or two more. And then you'll take your right hand behind your low back. So we bring the shoulder into some internal rotation and then rock your hips back to 6 o'clock and then rock forward. All right. And so we'll go like 5 or 6. It's totally fine to load your shoulder over your hand a little bit, right? And then back away. Perfect. And then you'll rock forward. You're going to reach your right arm forward, extend it alongside your right ear, and then send your left leg back. So see if you can take a second and press your hand into the block, get your rib cage up, push your left ball of the foot into the floor. And then when you're ready, lift the leg up only an inch. So it's not lifting all the way up here, just an inch. And then the arm comes out to a T, the leg goes out to the side, and you come right back to center. Okay. So see if you can just maintain control, try to maintain your good breath. And then you can bring your right hand down, bring your left knee in to meet your right, curl your toes under, try to get your, like spread your shoulder blades again, and then lift your knees. We'll come into that knee hover. We'll do like 4 breaths again. And then you can lower your knees down, uncurl your toes. One more time, take your block so that it's now horizontal. You're gonna bring one hand on either side, round your upper back a tiny bit, okay? Reach your hips back, press your palms down, and then you're not like cranking your neck like looking forward, but it's the chin isn't curled to the chest. You're somewhere in between those two, and then make sure if you really push the hands down, you'll get a nice stretch, right, in the armpits, shoulders, and upper back. Great. And then you can go ahead and rock forward. You'll be just in your tabletop here. Okay, we're gonna curl the toes under, lift the knees, and then just send your hips back to a downward dog for a second. Okay, see how that feels. Kind of check in, press the floor away from you. Your gaze is right in between your knees. Maybe you gently like move your head around a little bit. Just make sure you're not gripping or anything with the neck. Great. And then just see if you can rock forward. You're gonna maybe have to adjust your orientation. So you might have to move your feet back a little so you're in your high plank. Okay, you're thinking about dragging hands and feet towards each other. Hips, rib cage, head are in a nice line. And then we're going to drop the left knee down to your mat and step your right foot forward in between your hands. You're going to come up to a 90-90 lunge. Okay, so here, see if you can kind of square your hips a bit, all right? And you're trying to stack your left knee, your left hip, your left shoulder in a nice line. You're gonna take your arms out to a T. So the thumbs are kind of facing the ceiling. Interlace the hands behind the head, okay? And then move your elbows back in space, okay? And then press your head a little bit into your hands. And then your elbows are a fixed point. You're just gonna straighten the arms and rebend the arms, okay? Move the elbows back in space, straighten the arms, and rebend, all right? And you'll do that a couple of times. Great. And then you have your head pressing back into your hands, okay? And then see if you can start to lift your heart and your chest up. Look up at the ceiling or at the sky, okay? And then come back to center and see if you can do that like 3 times. So you're thinking like I'm in my hammock, right? And then I'm not. All right, so you're kind of pressing the back of the head into the hands there. Good. And then you're going to extend your arms forward alongside your ears. Lean your torso over your front leg. Sweep your right arm back. So it's left arm forward, right arm back. Okay, right arm is right back behind you. Curl your back toes under. Start to traction your legs towards each other. Lift your back knee up and then tap your back knee down. Okay, so we'll do 5 lunges. And then on your 5th one, you'll pause. You're gonna take both hands to your top thigh. So your front knee is bent, your back leg is straight, okay? And all you're gonna do is see if you can lift your right heel a little bit off the floor and then tap it down. And just see how that goes. Kind of take note of where your weight is in the ball of that right foot and see if you could kind of spread it out between the big toe mound and the little toe mound and see how that changes the sensation for you or the work, okay? Good. So you don't have to like go super crazy lifting the heel up. It's just a little bit of a heel raise here. Great. And then you're gonna plant your hands down on either side of your front foot. So you're in a runner's lunge. And now you're gonna start to rock your hips back as you straighten your front leg, bend your back leg, peel the bottom of your front foot up, and then rock forward. Drive your knee forward, straighten your back leg. So you're gonna go back and forth here, kind of oscillating, kind of coordinating your movement here. Front knee bends, back leg straightens, back leg bends, front leg straightens. Awesome. Okay, so the next time that you rock forward, you're in your runner's lunge, you pause, you're gonna spread through your palms, you're gonna lift your front foot up and reach it all the way up and back to a 3-legged downward dog. Okay, you rock forward, draw the knee to the nose, and send it back one more time. Okay, and then from here, you're gonna drop the foot down, you rock forward to your high plank. Okay, and then you're just gonna take your time and see if you can lower your body all the way to the floor. You can feel free to drop your knees down if you need to. So you're gonna lower all the way to the floor. Okay, sweep your arms forward, bend your knees, and gently windshield wiper side to side. Great. So you're gonna bring the tops of the feet down. Press the tops of the feet down so that the kneecaps lift up. Take your arms out to like 10 and 2 o'clock. Okay, and so you're gonna start with your forehead on the floor. Push your palms and your tops of your feet into the floor, and then lift your right arm up. Pick your head up, look at your right hand, and then imagine that that right arm was gonna rotate you onto your back, but it's not. You're gonna pause before your right hip lifts, and then you're gonna kind of roll right back onto your belly, push into your right hand, lift your left arm up, pick your head up, look at the left hand, and then imagine you were gonna rotate onto your back, but you don't. Okay, so the pelvis is staying on the floor the whole time, and you're gonna go back and forth a few times here, maybe checking out which direction feels a little more restricted, which direction you feel like you have a little bit more access to. Make sure you're breathing through your movement. Perfect. Okay, and then you're gonna bend your knees, kiss your heels together. So heels together, toes out. Lower your feet like halfway to the floor. Take your hands under your shoulders and start to make sure your heels are pushing together, and then lift your chest and your head. So you're in like a low cobra variation. Okay, and then you're just gonna reach your arms forward. Imagine you were like pulling a bar or something behind you. You're gonna pull it, the imaginary bar, kind of behind your head, and then reach the arms forward. See if you can do that like 4 to 5 times. Yeah, you're just reaching for it and then pulling it behind your head, like kind of like if you were doing a like a lat pull down at the gym or something. Good. And then you'll pause. You're gonna swim your arms back behind you, press your palms towards each other, see if you can get those triceps, and then reverse it, palms face each other. So see if you can kind of swim here with the arms. Okay, you're still doing your nice breaths, still pressing the heels together. And then you'll sweep your arms forward, relax your upper body down, bend the knees, gently sway your legs side to side. Great. And then you'll bring the tops of your feet down to your mat, and we'll come into a Sphinx shape. So you're gonna have your elbows right underneath or a little in front of your shoulders maybe. Tops of the feet are glued down. I want you to think about dragging your heart forward kind of through your hands. So you're thinking like of kind of lengthening your front body here. Okay. And then see if you can just slip your palms over to face the ceiling. Try to get the thumbnails towards the floor and then spin them back. Just move through that a couple of times. Perfect. Okay. From here, we're going to curl our toes under. See if you can lift your knees and your hips and come into your forearm plank. Okay. And then in your forearm plank, right, you're going to see if you can do little heel pulses, right? So you're just going to kind of like, you're kind of like reverberating the body a little bit, or like rocking, and you're just pressing your heels back, and you can get a little bit of a rhythm going. You might feel it in your calf a bit. Okay. A little bit of rhythm. The body loves rhythm. Good. And then when you're ready, you're going to start to walk your feet towards your elbows, and you come into a dolphin. So knees are bent to start. You're spreading through your palms. You're going to reach your rib cage towards your thighs. Okay. Take a couple of breaths here. And then you have two options. So one of the options would be to just come down into a tabletop and start to lift your elbows up and lower your elbows down. So you're doing these like dolphin tricep push-ups with the knees down. Okay. Your other option would be to stay in your dolphin and see if you can move between a dolphin and a down dog. So it's the same kind of push-up. Obviously, it's going to be more challenging, more load, going from the down dog, but you can do it with your knees up or your knees down. Okay. Either way, we're getting right into the triceps. Try not to let your elbows cave out, try not to let your elbows move out away from each other. You want to keep them in. And then you'll drop your knees down, send your hips all the way back to your heels. Relax your hands down by your feet. Bring your forehead to your mat. Let your shoulder blades melt towards the floor. We'll do a couple of breaths here. Kind of check in, see how you're feeling. And then you're going to sweep your arms forward, come through a tabletop, all right? And then you can step back into your plank, okay? And then from plank, you're going to drop your right knee down, and we'll step our left foot forward in between our hands and come up to our 90-90 lunge, all right? So feel free to pad your back knee if you need it. You're going to take your arms out to a T, thumbs up, okay? Interlace your hands behind your head. Press the back of your head into your hands, and then move the elbows back, straighten the arms, okay? Rebend the elbows. So the elbows stay a fixed point. You move them back a little bit, and then you open. Good. You can do that a couple of times. And then you're going to start to press your head into your hands again and try to lift your heart or lift your rib cage up towards the ceiling a bit. Try to come into your hammock and then come out of it. All right. So you're going to move through that a couple of times. So you're kind of, I want you to think of it as a front body opener, a little bit of a back bend. Good. And then extend your arms up. So one arm on each side of your ears, and then you're going to hinge over your front leg. This time your left arm goes back, right arm stays forward, your back toes are tucked. You could rotate your rib cage a little bit to your left, and you're going to lift your back knee up and then tap your back knee down. And we'll go for about 5. Think about dragging your legs towards each other. Awesome. And then you're going to bring both hands to your top thigh. So your back leg is up, your back heel is lifted, you're leaning over your front thigh. Okay. And then you're going to start to lift your front heel and tap your front heel down. So try not to be like excessively arching through your low back, right? And then play around with or notice where you have your weight in the ball of your left foot. So you want to distribute it between the big toe mound and the pinky toe mound. Perfect. And then you're going to bring your hands down to frame your front foot. All right. And then you're going to start to bend into your back knee, straighten your front leg, peel the bottom of your left foot up, flex that ankle, and then rock forward. You can kind of let the knee travel past the ankle. All right. So see if you can do these kind of like oscillations here, forward and backwards. Okay. If you can, try to keep your torso connected to your front thigh as you move. Head is very relaxed. Head and neck are relaxed. And then when you rock forward, you're in your runner's lunge. You'll plant your palms down and then see if you can extend your left leg all the way up and back into your 3-legged down dog. Rock forward, knee to nose. Rock back one more time. And then rock forward, you're in your plank. Hike your hips up to your downward dog. And then we'll start to walk the hands towards the feet at the back of your mat. Great. And then see if you can toe heel your feet together. So your feet are touching or almost touching and your inner thighs are together. And you're going to bring your hands on top of your knees and start to circle your knees around your ankles. Okay. Start to circle the knees. So you're getting into the bottoms of the feet and the ankle joints. Good. And then you'll reverse directions. So you are sitting kind of like as if you were in a chair squat. Perfect. And then you can just kind of rise on up to stand and maybe shake it out. Okay. So from here, what you're going to do, you're going to step your right foot in front of your left foot so that you're kind of like on a tightrope. And it's like heel to toe alignment. And then you're going to extend both arms up. So the arms are framing your ears. And then all you're going to do is do a side bend to your right. So it's like your classic side bend with a different foot placement. And then side bend to your left. And then float through center, interlace the hands behind the head, and start to lift your chest and your heart up. You're going to come into your hammock for a second. And then from here, you're going to sweep your arms up towards the ceiling, and we're going to move through 5 hinges. So you're going to hinge your hip back, straight back behind you, extend your arms forward, okay? And then slowly come back on up to stand, right? And so it might feel a little shaky or a little wobbly, and that's fine. Just because we changed our foot placements. You might notice some different things working in your feet and in your ankles. Awesome. And then you're going to relax your arms down by your sides. Okay. Shrug the shoulders a few times. And then just go ahead and step your left foot right in front of your right foot, heel to toe alignment. Reach your arms up. Okay, you're gonna side bend a bit to your right, side bend a bit to your left. Interlace the hands behind the head. Lift your heart and your chest up. You're in your hammock. And then reach your arms up to frame your ears. And then you're gonna sit your hips right back to 6 o'clock. So it's all about the hinge, right? We're not squatting down. I want you to think flat back, hips back, arms forward, and slowly come back up. See if you can do 2-ish more. Awesome. Okay, and then you can relax your arms down, maybe shrug the shoulders again. All right, and then we're just gonna do a couple of spinal rolling variations. So you're gonna tuck your chin to your chest, start to roll your spine down nice and slow. So arms and head are like a heavy weight. Okay, you're gonna kind of round your spine, bend your knees, right? Relax the head. And then when you're ready, you're just gonna ground down through your feet and reverse it. Slowly roll back up incrementally. And then you're gonna drop your right ear to your right shoulder, and you're gonna start to reach your right fingertips towards the floor. So it's a roll down to the right side, and you're gonna bend your knees a little bit to help you. And you're just gonna roll like, halfway down as low as you're comfortable. Maybe get a stretch on your left side body, and then slowly reverse it and come up. And then drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Same thing, you start to reach your left fingertips towards the floor, bend the knees, try to feel for a nice lengthening in your right side, and slowly come back up. Nice. Then we'll do one more to the front. You're gonna roll your spine all the way down. Your hands are gonna meet your mat. You're gonna walk out into a wide-legged plank now. So your feet are gonna be mat width apart, okay? And your shoulders are under your palms, all right? So just take a second here, see if you can feel for a sense of stability. Try to keep the hips square. Take your left hand to your heart. Drop your heels to the right. Rotate to the left. Reach your left arm up. You're in your side plank. Okay. Really lift from this bottom right hip. And then extend your left hand forward alongside the ear. Feel for a nice stretch or lengthening in your left side body. And then you can come back into your wide-legged plank. Okay. Take a reset for a second, just kind of reconnect with the balls of your feet and your hands. Take your right hand to your heart, drop your heels to your left, reach your right arm up, try to get your hips up towards the ceiling, and then reach your right fingertips away from you. Couple of breaths, really work from that bottom left hip. And then bring your right hand back down, you're in your wide-legged plank, and then just a couple of times move between a wide-legged plank and downward dog. We're just gonna go back and forth. Check in with how you're feeling, right? If you need to drop your knees down, drop your knees down. Okay, the next time you're in your plank, you pause. You're gonna step your left foot outside your left hand. Try to not move anything else, and then step your right foot outside your right hand, okay? So now you're in this like squat position. You're gonna connect your elbows on the inside of your knees, hands together, sit your hips down. You're in your prayer squat, okay? So inner thighs and elbows pressed together. We're gonna do a seesaw movement. So you reach your hips up and then sit your hips down. Great, and you can just move through that a couple of times. Notice what the feet are doing, meaning like where do you have your weight in your feet, right? Just take note of that. Can you keep the pressure between the elbows and the inner thighs the whole time? Perfect. And then you can seesaw up. You're gonna plant your palms down, step your left leg back to that wide-legged plank, step your right leg back, and move in and out of your down dog to wide-legged plank. Okay, the next time that you're in your plank, you're gonna step your right foot outside your right hand. Try not to move anything, and then step your left foot outside your left hand. This time you're gonna bring both of your forearms on top of your thighs. So you're in this like athletic stance. And then you're just gonna rock your weight side to side. Okay, so hips are kind of down, chest is up, okay, and you're just distributing your weight over to your left side and over to your right side, really connecting or feeling the feelings in the legs. Great. And then when you're ready, right, you're gonna plant your hands down, reach your hips up, relax the head, keep your legs straight, and gently rock the hips side to side. You might need elevation or a block here for your hands, okay? And then you'll just toe heel your feet together and come down to sit on your mat. Awesome. So once you're seated on your mat, you're gonna step your feet in front of you, knees bent, feet flat. Bring your hands to your shins. Start to drag your heels back towards your sits bones. I want you to sit up nice and tall, kind of think about maybe like arching the back just a little bit or sitting up super tall, crown of the head reaches up. And then press your feet away from you or push your feet away from you, round your spine, tuck your chin. And then reverse it. So let the feet drive the movement, like meaning when you come up, your heels pull back. When you round, your feet push forward. So it's kind of like a seated cat-cow. Perfect. And then the next time that you're sitting up nice and tall, you're gonna pause, reach your arms forward, okay? And then start to tuck your chin to your chest. Keep reaching your arms forward. You're gonna take your time, see how slow you can go, right? I want you to go super incremental, as slow as possible, and you're gonna roll your spine down, one vertebrae at a time. So your sacrum goes first, and then it's super, super slow, one vertebrae at a time. Awesome. Okay, relax your head down, take your arms out to a T, palms face up, walk your feet in so you have bent knees, great. And then you're just gonna extend your right leg straight up, okay? So left knee bent, foot on the floor, right leg straight up, arms stay in a T, keep your right shoulder blade down and just swing your legs to the left and then right back up to center. So the legs are only like rotating to the side as much as your right shoulder blade can stay on the floor, right? We're not lifting the right shoulder blade, but it should feel like kind of a nice rotation through the lower half of the body. So we're rooted down, anchored at the top half, and then we're moving, we're mobilizing through the bottom half. Great. And then you'll bring your right foot down, reach your left leg straight up, and we'll go to the other side. So both legs swing over to the right, left shoulder blade stays down. And maybe you feel difference in side to side, right? Like maybe one side feels a little less restricted or just a little easier. Hopefully feels kind of good, kind of restorative. Perfect. And then go ahead and reach both legs up. Take the feet a little wider. And we'll do some, medium size, like a softball size hip circles. Okay. Just kind of move the legs here and then reverse directions. Good. Perfect. And then see if you can cross the legs one in front of the other, kind of like scissoring the legs. See how that feels in the hips. Great. And then go ahead and bring your feet down to the mat. You'll cross your right ankle over your left thigh, move the right knee away from the body, pick up your left foot. You're in your figure four. Okay. And then keep your right leg exactly where it is. Don't change a thing. And then extend your left leg straight out in front of you and then tap the knee to the ankle. So go ahead and do that a couple of times. We're fixating this right leg in space. It stays at that 90-degree angle if you can. Right there. Good. And then reconnect knee to ankle. You're gonna rock side to side and let the legs fall all the way over to the left. And we'll take a few breaths here. Feel free to move the head side to side or keep it still. Just relax the face and the neck as much as you can. And then you can slowly come up and unwind, uncross the legs. See if you can lengthen the legs out long, reach the arms back. You'll do a nice full body stretch. And then bring the arms right back to a T, bend the knees. Now you can cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Move the left knee away from you, pick the feet halfway up, okay? So press the ankle and the thigh together, and then just extend your right leg forward and reconnect the knee to the ankle. And see if you can do that like 5 times. So definitely gonna feel the abs here. And then you'll reconnect and rock side to side. Let the legs fall all the way over to the right. You might need to bring something under the right leg for elevation. You want to keep the left shoulder blade down if you can. Maybe you gently rock the head side to side. Maybe you keep it still. And then go ahead and come through center, okay? And we're just gonna take the soles of the feet together, let the knees open, okay? Bring the hands to rest somewhere on the body. You can just make some gentle contact anywhere that feels good. Heart, belly, abdomen, anywhere. And you can feel free to relax the muscles around the eyes. Start to settle your breath and settle your energy. Start to take some inventory of your internal environment, kind of see how things are feeling. And then as you feel ready, you can slowly draw the knees together. Okay. Maybe take the arms out to a T and windshield wiper one more time, side to side. And then as you feel ready, you can begin to make your way on up. Awesome job.